Good evening, friends and fiends, and welcome back. We're going to do something a little bit different tonight. Um, we're going to play Slime Rancher a little bit later on. That was the game that was voted for on our Discord. Pixels in the background, running around. She's very frisky today because it's turned a little bit colder here, and so she is running around, playing and having a good time. So we're going to play Slime Rancher. I'm not sure what time we'll start that. It'll be a little bit later on because I kind of want to talk about food pantries and blessing boxes today. This is a little bit different from what I normally do, but just for some background, I used to work for a nonprofit. We had several different services that we did. Hello, Cass. Welcome in. I'm not sure where the rest of my chatters are. Usually chat is booming before I even get in here, but I guess everybody's running a little bit slow tonight. But so I used to work for a nonprofit, and we had several services. The part that I primarily worked in was helping people with job placement and finding, helping them with resources to get employed or get back into school, to find funding for school, different things like that. But probably our biggest service that we offered was a food pantry. And we served about 500 families every week, and it was huge. Cass says, I think this is notably the first time I've had the chat to myself. It's like showing up to a party before the hosts are done setting up. LOL. So yeah, we had this food pantry. And I misspoke earlier. I said 500 a week. It was actually like 500 a month. But I live in a very small town in Alabama. So with the current things going on in the US government, SNAP, which is the food assistance for the US, is not going to be funded for November at this time. And that is going to put a huge burden on local food pantries and local food banks. Because 40 million people in the US receive some form of food assistance. Like 50% of those are children. The next largest demographic are disabled and elderly. So we're talking a huge amount of people who are not going to have food assistance. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience working for a nonprofit who operated one of these food pantries. Talk about some ways that you can help the food pantries in your area. And then also talk about, what are the best things to donate? What are the best ways that you can assist? So I've got Good Kid playing in the background. This is a band that I really enjoy that offers their music royalty free to YouTubers. So let me know if I need to adjust the volume a little bit. I'm probably going to actually turn it down a little bit on my end, simply because I want to be able to hear myself think. But if I need to adjust it, let me know. Hello to AV64 Dancer and Trial Fan. I am tired too. I spent a little while this afternoon. It was really rainy this morning, and the sun finally came out and it dried off a bit. I spent a little bit of time working on a raised bed that I'm installing in my front yard. I pretty much got it done. I need to add like a layer of leaves, and then I just need a little bit more soil to top it off, but it'll be done after that. Trial Fan says volume good here. So let's talk about sort of the process as it worked at my food pantry. People would come in. I think we were open 4 days a week at the one that I worked. Different food pantries have different setups. Some are once a month, some are every day, some are once a week, different things like that. The one that I worked at, we were open 4 days a week, but people could only get food from us 1 day a week. So when they came in, we had a very short intake form. It asked just some basic demographic information. It asked if they were working. It asked if they received SNAP food benefits. It asked how many people were in the household, how many of those were children. We used a lot of that information to keep track of, how many people we were serving. And then the other thing that we would do is we would use some of that information. Like if they said they weren't working and they didn't receive SNAP benefits, we would usually, a lot of times they would, I try to make an appointment with them so that we could figure out why those things were. Like, is it possible that they could be working, but they just had some sort of barrier that they needed to overcome to get there? Or if they needed assistance filling out the paperwork for SNAP benefits, or a lot of times what we ran into was that they had SNAP at one point, lost those benefits, and then had fallen back on hard times and needed help getting that reestablished. But our food pantry was pretty much a temporary, like it was intended to be a temporary thing until SNAP could kick in, so that we could get them more stability through the government benefit program. Cass says, yeah, as a person on SNAP, things are pretty scary right now. It's good that people are out there organizing. Folks are going to need it, and bad. Yes, absolutely. I've noticed locally, there have been a lot of people talking about it. There have been a lot of people in the area that are stepping up their donations to food pantries. We also have blessing boxes in the area, and a lot of places do. So what's the difference between a food pantry and a blessings box? A food pantry is more of an established organization kind of thing, whereas a blessing box is sort of runs on an honor system. It's usually just a box outside of a business where people can bring donations to drop off. They can take something if they need it. They're usually anonymous. There's no paperwork to fill out. Blessing boxes and food pantries both work in tandem to deal with hunger, but they have different challenges and different abilities as far as what they can do. Usually you'll get more food at a food pantry, but there may be additional requirements. Some pantries only serve families with children. Some only serve homeless individuals, different things like that. Whereas a blessing box is just for anybody. Typically, the amount of food that you'll get at a food pantry is larger. Blessing boxes have some additional challenges in that they are sometimes exposed to the weather. They can be, if there's a problem with the construction, or if it's not in a place that is, not in a place that is well sheltered, they can start to leak. They can have, they're subject to vandalism. I don't know anybody who has ever, I don't know of any of the local blessing boxes that have been vandalized, but I have heard of it in other places. Magpie, hello. Magpie says, not here for a long time, but I'm here. It's always a good time. Love hearing about Wobble's good deeds. Cass says, Wobbs, maybe we could do a quick community PDF. TTRPG folks making a charity bundle that'll be used to buy food for a good organization. That's a cool idea. I like that. That's something that would be pretty neat to put together. So, like I was talking about, the blessing boxes. The other thing that you run into with blessing boxes is that they are exposed to heat and cold. Particularly as we're heading into fall. In a lot of places you have issues with freezing, and some foods that are in that would be fine inside a house don't do so well whenever they are outside in a uninsulated box or an unheated box. Here in the South, we actually have kind of the opposite problem where our summer temperatures can reach three digits, and Some food doesn't do very well in that kind of environment either. So just a different kind of issue there. Magpie says, we started a pantry at the factory that I HR at, but most people haven't really taken advantage of it. We have employees with food insecurities, but I think pride unfortunately gets in the way. It definitely does. And in my experience, it particularly, that pride is tied in a lot with blue collar employees and those that come from like very conservative backgrounds. I can't count the number of people that would come in and would like almost like I'd almost have to beg them to take food, even though they hadn't eaten in a day or two. So there are times like that when those kind of things can get in the way. But something I want to remind people is like, and you'll see it all over, like any kind of comment form talking about the snap shutdown. There'll be all these people that'll go on there and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't need SNAP. It's time for you guys to get a job." Well, it's like, okay, first off, most people who receive SNAP benefits either are employed or were employed up until the point when they no longer could. The average American pays, I think it's $36 a year in taxes to fund the SNAP program. It's not a lot of money. And that includes not just people who work. It also includes people who pay sales tax, if they pay property tax, any kind of tax that you pay, a portion of that goes to SNAP. So it's one of those things. Everybody pays into it. Everybody can benefit from it. For most people, it's a very temporary situation. A lot of people are just on it until they find another job and are able to start, buying the food that they need for their family. Let's see. So when people would come into our food pantry, usually what we did is we actually had staff who would assemble a bag for them based on the number of people that were in their family. So if it was just a single person, they would usually get like a small bag. If it was a larger family with, 5 people in it, they would get a larger bag. Our goal was to give them a week's worth of food. We couldn't always do that. It depended on what items came in. Sometimes we had lots of things. Sometimes we didn't. And so it kind of depended. It also depended on the person's situation, because we had some people that would come in that were they lived in a house. They had access to a microwave and a stove and all those kind of things. We had some people that were staying in a hotel where they might have had access to hot water and a microwave, but they didn't have access to a stove or an oven. We had some people that were living in their cars or were even just straight on the street who had access to nothing. And so food pantries often have to kind of take those things into account to be able to serve the people that are coming in to request food. And so when you are thinking about what you want to donate to a food pantry, I encourage you to think about those different kinds of situations, because like a lot of people want to donate bags of rice and bags of dried beans. Those are really inexpensive. They are really calorie dense foods. Those are great. Those kind of things are fantastic. If you have a stove and a pot to cook them in, those items were completely useless to someone who's homeless or somebody that was staying in a hotel. There was nothing we could do for them with that. There are different options, though. We have, for example, canned beans, which are fully cooked and can be just heated up in a microwave. Or, like the instant rice packs that can be done in a microwave. Any kind of like individually packed food, like Individual packs of oatmeal or cereal or soups, chilies, anything like that are really fantastic items. Another thing that people don't think about often is like with canned goods, make sure it's the pop top, which like these days most things do come in a pop top, but otherwise you might be donating a whole bunch of canned goods that don't have a can opener. I don't know why it is, but for some reason, like canned corn never seems like it comes in a pop top, at least not the brand that I buy. Most of the other like veggies and things like that I get do have pop tops. So Trial Fan says peanut butter. Peanut butter is really good. Peanut butter is great because it can be used in all sorts of ways. It's really calorie dense. It can be used for meals. One thing I would suggest with that, if you donate peanut butter, donate like a box of saltine crackers. Because peanut butter on its own, like, yeah, you can just eat a spoonful of peanut butter and you'll be okay. Peanut butter is always better if you have something to put it in. So if you have crackers, bread is great. The only problem with bread is that it goes bad very, very quickly. And a lot of times when we would get bread, it would already be like past its sell-by date. So you'd really only have like one day to get it out. I remember one time we got a donation of bread, I think from a grocery store. And they brought us like tons and tons of bread. But we could already tell that some of it was starting to go bad. And so we literally hopped on the phone and we're calling some of our regulars at the food pantry and just saying, hey, come get this stuff, because if we had waited a day or two, it would have been bad. So crackers are better. Saltine crackers go really great with peanut butter. Graham crackers go great with peanut butter, and they last a long time. Plus saltine crackers, if you have soup or you have potted meat, it makes that go a lot further. I always tell people that crackers are underrated when it comes to food pantries. When you're looking at items, think about what other ingredients you need, right? Because there's the blue box of mac and cheese. The blue box of mac and cheese requires milk and butter to make. But there are other brands of mac and cheese that include a sauce pack, right? And those might be like a couple cents more, but those are a better donation to the food pantry. If it already has the cheese sauce included. They also make the individual cups of mac and cheese. Those are fantastic as well, because those really just require water. Cass says, everyone, I have a bread recipe that never fails that you can donate. Hello, Stone Homie. Welcome in. We are talking about food pantries and blessing boxes today. We're going to play Slime Rancher a little bit later on, probably in the second half of the stream. Trial Fan says the little boxes of shelf-stable milk is good. There's also soy milk in quart-sized boxes. Yes. And you can find shelf-stable milk, the cans of evaporated milk, powdered milk. All of those are good. If you have the budget and you find it on sale or something like that, like the nut, some of the nut milks are good. I don't know that we'll really have time to talk about it, but you always run into people who have some sort of dietary issue, whereas they can't do dairy, or they are diabetic. They might have some sort of allergy. That's something we would ask about a lot at the food pantry. And I know that there are some people that are like, beggars can't be choosers, and that's true, but you want to preserve people's dignity when you work at these kind of places, and you're serving people who are hungry. And so anything you can do to accommodate different options is great. things that are often overlooked are donations of pasta sauce. At least at the one that I worked at, we would get lots and lots of boxes of pasta, but not nearly as much pasta sauce. So a can of just plain tomato sauce even would be really helpful. Things like that, and then things that can spread up, or that can help a meal go further. We would get plain spaghetti, and occasionally we could get plain pasta sauce. But if you can add the little bitty cans of mushrooms or cans of black olives, like that takes that to a whole nother level when you don't have a lot there. Drinks are big. Tea bags of all types, whether it's for making sweet tea or herbal tea or any kind of like fruit flavored teas. Coffee is really useful, particularly like instant coffee, or Folgers makes Folgers singles, which they look like tea bags, but they are filled with coffee grounds, and you can make a cup of coffee with that. I think they actually taste better than the instant coffee crystals, so I always liked getting those and giving those out. The flavor packets for like bottles of water, because you're often eating a lot of bland foods when you are relying on a food pantry, and so these kind of things give you some flavor. We would always try to keep, because we didn't get it very often, but we would try to keep like a box of cake mix or brownie mix or cookies, something like that, are always useful, because you never know when a kid is going to have a birthday party or something like that, and being able to provide a cake or something similar when that kid has their birthday is a godsend when it comes to these kind of things. Kelly says the Bisquick type mixes that only needed water were a favorite at our food pantry. Yeah, they make like what is it, like the blueberry muffins and strawberry muffins and stuff like that, and all you have to do is add water. Those are really, really good. Those are great. But again, those kind of things you have to have an oven, so they work for people who are homed, which is the majority. I'll admit that is the majority of the people that are using a food pantry. But sometimes those things don't work for people if they don't have access to an oven. Stone Homie says, what about boxes of sides like stuffing or instant potatoes? Those are great. You can like stovetop stuffing, I think technically requires butter. You can make it without butter. It doesn't taste quite as great, but it's still going to be pretty good. Same thing with instant potatoes. Again, if there's some sort of shelf-stable dairy that you can include with that, it's going to make that better. Now, one thing I do want to mention is check with your pantry, because if you're donating items, find out if they have access to a refrigerator or a freezer. Not every pantry does. I think there are maybe 2 in my local area that do. But if they have access to a fridge or a freezer, that opens up so many options, because you can donate things like butter or milk. You can donate things like, if you donate things like bread, they can freeze it and it can last longer. You can donate things like meat. Those are fresh meat is rare. Like we did have a fridge and a freezer, and so we were able to get various types of frozen meat a lot of times. Occasionally, we would get like sandwich meat from one of the local um, grocery stores. Um, so yeah, if they have those kind of things, that takes it to a whole other level of what you can do. Um, One thing I do want to say though is, we've been talking a lot about the specific items you can donate. Um, the other thing to think about is donations of actual cash. Um, actual donations of money, because like let's say you go to a store and you spend $10 on canned goods, right? That would probably get you, depending on what you buy, anywhere from 4 to 20 cans. If you're going for like the 50-cent cans of just veggies, or if you're going for like canned soups that are closer to like $1.50 or $1.99, you're probably only going to get anywhere from 4 to 20 cans. This has been a couple years, but when I worked at this food pantry, we could go to the local regional food bank and we could buy food from them at like 20 cents a pound. I think it was something like that. And it basically, what it worked out to was the amount that you could donate, like you yourself going to the grocery store and buying $10 worth of stuff. We could take that amount and we could multiply it by 5. That's about what it worked out to. So we could get considerably more volume of food with a cash donation than we could with a donation of actual goods. The other thing that cash allowed us to do was it allowed us to, if we got a big bulk donation of one type of item, we could go and purchase, something else to balance that out instead of, buying the same thing. Trial Fan says disposable cutlery. Yes, those are great. Especially if you can find the ones that are like you find at restaurants that are individually packaged and come with a napkin and a fork, knife, and a spoon. Those are fantastic. We would always, if we got some of those, we would always throw a couple in the bag every time that we got them. Let's see what else. We actually, talking about cash donations, we actually had a couple of churches that worked with us. They didn't have the resource, like the manpower, to operate their own food pantry, so they would use a portion of their funding and donated it to us to use for our food pantry. And then they would just send, if they had someone, in the congregation that needed help, they would send them to us. Trial Fan says you can make stuffing mixes without butter if you have to. I've done it a couple times. Yeah, I have too. You can even, depending on the type, you can even just add like a tiny splash of cooking oil or something, and that works pretty well in a pinch. So let's talk about some items that are not food items that you can donate to these food pantries and blessing boxes. We get a lot of requests for personal hygiene products of all kinds of different types. So like the like travel size of toothpaste and shampoo and body wash and stuff like that are really great. Menstrual products for women. We would get requests for baby formula and for diapers. Not quite so much for like men's grooming products like razors and stuff like that. We did keep some on hand, particularly for my my workforce clients, the ones that were, if they were trying to get a job and needed to like, clean up their beard or something like that. We would have some of those kind of things something that we did keep on hand occasionally was when we would get it, were lice products. Because, sometimes, especially for like some of our more, families that were living in tougher situations, the kids would get lice, and that would be a big problem. So we would try to keep some of those on hand if we could. We didn't always have it, and a lot of times, our focus was on food, and we tried to do, hygiene items and stuff like that as a secondary. If we had them, we would give them out. A lot of times we didn't. But then we would also have people that would come and, we had a couple of churches that would regularly donate to us for those as well. Something that I've seen lately on social media with the blessing boxes. Again, these are talking about the boxes that are placed outside of a business, is putting together a full meal kit. And usually you can do it in like a gallon Ziploc bag, and you put together, like let's say something to make chili, putting together all the stuff, a couple of cans of beans, a can of diced tomatoes, a small bottle of chili powder, and then maybe like a little recipe card talking about how to make that chili. Those things are great because then someone can just grab that out of the blessing box and go. And that's all that they really need. Kelly says baby items and laundry stuff. Laundry stuff, yeah, definitely. We would get requests for laundry detergent a lot. One of the things that I was hoping that I could do before I ended up leaving that position was we actually had a laundromat in town, and I was hoping that we could get some sort of deal worked out with them where we could use some of our funding to pay for people to use the laundromat. Unfortunately, my epilepsy kind of kicked up at that point, and I ended up having to leave that position before I was able to implement that program. Stone Homie said, I came from poor folk and had lice a few times as a youngster. My mom was in the too proud to ask for help segment. Yeah, unfortunately, that is very common. And I think that's just where people sharing their stories about needing, getting help from different things, comes in handy, because it helps break down that stigma that a lot of people have, and it helps make those things, makes that more palatable to people to go and request help when they need it. Because nobody deserves to go hungry. Kids don't need to have lice, and we have the resources to solve a lot of those problems. It's just a matter of connecting people to those resources. And there's a lot of people that want to give but don't know how, and that's kind of why I'm talking about this tonight, is like hopefully to kind of talk about some of the things that are useful and some of the things that aren't. Rain Grimm is a friend of mine who's also a YouTuber. He shared a list earlier, so I'm going to read a couple of these things and kind of comment on them. We talked about the box mac and cheese. It's better if you can get the ones that have the cheese sauce, simply because the other one requires milk and butter, which you may not always have. Box milks are great, especially if it's the shelf-stable kind. Pasta and spaghetti sauce. Canned goods help more if a can opener is included, or the pop tops. So yeah, like I said, the pop tops are kind of your better option. You can find on like Amazon, they're the old military style can openers. And they're kind of finicky to use, but you can get them super, super cheap. I mean, you can get like a 20 pack for like $20 or something. Magpie says it's in a lot of ways the same with any financial insecurities, mental health issues, and most problems in life. None of us are alone, and we are, in fact, all stronger together. Never adventure alone. Yes, absolutely. Um, Another one on this list says cooking oil is a rare luxury but essential. That is a good one. Particularly the smaller bottles. You know, it's really hard for a food pantry to deal with like a gallon jug of cooking oil. But if you can get the smaller bottles like you find at a dollar store, that's a really useful thing to be able to give out. Number 6 on this list says spices, salt, and pepper are true gifts. Absolutely. I mean, that takes, like, if you're just eating plain rice and plain beans, you can do it. It's really bland and it's going to get really tiring after a while. But if you can add, you know, some chili powder or salt and pepper and those kind of things, that is really, really, really helpful. So any of those kind of things. Something that I do a lot is like if I'm eating at a fast food restaurant or something, I'll ask for a couple of the salt and pepper packets, and I just kind of keep them until I go to make a donation at one of the food pantries, and then just give them those packets, because let's be honest, McDonald's can afford it. They make tons of profits, so they can afford, you know, some salt and pepper packets that can go into the food pantry. Cass says, tip for everyone: rice and beans can pad out just about any meal and can be acquired super cheap. If you can afford a Costco membership or have an international market nearby, get a real big bag. Cass says canola oil, not olive oil, and especially not extra virgin olive oil. They can go bad, whereas canola is a lot more shelf stable. Yeah, definitely. So talking about cooking oil, technically all of your oils can go rancid. Different oils go rancid at different periods of time. Canola oil is a little bit more shelf stable than olive oil. You can technically cook with rancid oil. It is not going to taste great, but it won't, in most cases, make you sick. So it's kind of one of those things, like it's just going to have an off flavor. But yeah, definitely look at your types of cooking oil that you're getting. Try to get it in the dark bottles if you can. Darker bottles, because the things that make olive oil or make any oil go rancid is heat and light, and the darker bottles are better for that. Next on this list says tea and coffee make people feel cared for. That is true. We talked about that earlier. Sugar and flour are treats. Yeah, definitely. And particularly, like I said, anything that is kind of the less additional ingredients or the less additional steps that you have to do, the better. You know, there's a lot of people that can't do a whole lot with a bag of just raw flour. But, you know, if it's like a cake mix or something like that, you can use that in a lot of different ways. Cornmeal and anything to make cornbread is really, really great, especially if you're in the South. Cass says, is margarine a good donation for that reason? Maybe it can be. Again, there are some people who can't do dairy, so having something like margarine is a better option sometimes. But generally, if you're talking about like margarine and butter, most of the time you're giving that to a food pantry that has refrigeration, and they're probably only going to donate that, or they're probably only going to give that to to someone who actually has access to a fridge. Let's see what else is on here. Fresh produce brings huge smiles, definitely. I think we only got fresh produce maybe 3 times in the time that I worked there. I know one time we got a big bag, or like a cardboard box like this big, full of oranges, and they had blemishes and stuff, but they were delicious, and those were really, really good. We had a couple of local farmers that would bring us fresh produce sometimes, so those were always really good. If you like if you're just one of those people that likes to garden just for the sake of it, not so much for what you produce off of it, consider planting more vegetable crops this year instead of just your ornamental flowers, and donate your harvest to the local food pantry. They will love you for it. Seeds are great in winter months. Growing food helps. That's true, but it kind of, again, it depends on the person's situation. You know, if they're homeless or their housing situation is unstable, you know, planting seeds, it could take, I mean, it takes months to get a harvest, and you may not be living in the same spot where you planted those seeds. But for some people that really enjoy it, it can be good. They're very much, like I said, they're a supplemental. Don't think that seeds are a you know, solution in any way. Kelly says Crisco, especially in smaller containers around the holiday, even better if it's butter flavored. That's a really good solution, because Crisco, like, is super shelf stable. That will last for ages. Number 11 on the list said fresh meat is rare. That's true. Again, make sure that the pantry that you're donating to has a way to store it, though. Don't show up and just drop, you know, 50 pounds of ground beef if they don't have a fridge. Bearded Halfling, hello, welcome in. Number 12 says tuna and crackers make an easy lunch. Yeah, tuna, any kind of potted meat, you know, those kind of things, as long as it has some crackers with it, is great. I would sometimes try to get, like, because when we had funds and we would go shopping for stuff, I would try to get some of the tuna that was flavored. Like, they have like lemon pepper tuna and stuff like that in the pouches. People love those. Those were great. Hamburger Helper. This one says Hamburger Helper needs ground beef to matter. Yes and no. Like, you can do just Hamburger Helper with the spices and water, and it's gonna be okay. You can also substitute, you know, the ground beef for like canned chicken or something like that. But generally speaking, you know, if it's something, again, if it has less steps, that's better. Stone Homie says, are boxes better than bags for cereal, like the big multi-meal bags? Rain and I were actually talking about this on Blue Sky earlier. I don't personally think that cereal is a great option to donate. However, if you're going to do it, look for the individual packaged bowls, because, again, you have to have milk. Although, you know, like if it's a little kid, they can just kind of munch on it. But the individually packaged bowls were a lot easier for us to give out because, you know, again, we were serving different sizes of families. So sometimes it would be one person, sometimes it would be 8 people. And then the individually sized bowls, not only are they each individually sealed, so that keeps a lot longer, because once you open, you know, a bag of cereal, it's open, right? So if you have the individual packs, that's a lot easier for the food pantry to manage. And some of those, no, I'm thinking about something else. So yeah, if you can go for the individual packs, like the individually packaged bowls of cereal, that's a better option, I think, in my opinion. Some people may think differently. Number 14 on the list is PB&J are common, sandwich bread is not. That is true. We've talked about that a little bit. Hi, Pixel. We are talking about food pantries and stuff. So yeah, sandwich bread is not very common. Again, if you can donate it, try to find a pantry that has like a fridge or a freezer, because they'll be able to do it. They'll be able to keep it a lot longer. Number 15, butter or margarine feels like gold. Yeah, definitely. If you have that, eggs. If they have access to, if they have access to a freezer, or not a freezer but a fridge, donating eggs is really, really great. Preferably go for the containers that are only like 6 eggs in a carton, because that's easier for the food pantry to give out to different sizes of families. Or, okay, so there's something that a lot of people don't realize about eggs. If you buy eggs from the store, they have been washed, they have been cleaned. That removes a protective layer on the eggs, and that means they have to be refrigerated. Farm fresh eggs that have not been cleaned have, those can actually be kept on a shelf. So if you are someone who raises chickens or something like that, you can actually donate that. Again, you have to check with the pantry and find out if they can accept them. Most will. I don't know of any that won't. But just make sure that they know whether these are farm fresh eggs or these are store-bought eggs. Kelly says pet food has made some of the people we helped cry. Absolutely, yeah. Because, people have companions, and, if it were in a situation where I couldn't feed myself and I had pets, there's some heartbreaking situations where I've seen people have to give up their pets and things like that. And, pets are such a form of comfort, particularly in hard times. So any kind of pet food that you can give, a lot of times, sometimes you can work with, the food pantry can work in conjunction with something like a humane society or a shelter to help with that. There's different ways for that kind of to work out. But yeah, any kind of pet food. Again, smaller packages tend to work better, just because it's easier to divvy up. Bearded Halfling said American eggs are weird to British people. Stone Homie says beans on toast for breakfast is weird. Let's see, what else is on this list? Cake mix and frosting. Let kids celebrate birthdays. Absolutely. I'll tell you another thing that I had a guy who came in one time, and it was him and his kids, and I think one of the kids was having a birthday. But what we ended up doing, we didn't have any cake mix or anything, but we had one container of frosting, and we had some cookies, like a package of cookies. And so we gave him that, and he came back later and he said that we just had totally made their evening, because they sat around and spread frosting on the cookies and ate them for the kid's birthday, and he loved it. Next one on the list is dish soap. Dish soap is pricey and always needed. Yes, absolutely. Dish soap. I mean, if you're eating, you're gonna make dirty dishes, and it's, you got to have some way to clean it too. And I mean, you can clean stuff with just water, but it doesn't get totally clean. So dish soap is always helpful. Feminine hygiene products are always helpful. So yeah, a lot of those things are really, really great. All right, so we'll probably get started here in just a minute with our Slime Rancher, but does anybody have any questions about food insecurity, food pantries, things that are great to donate, or things that you're not sure if you should donate? Let's say you're going through your pantry and you're looking for things to donate. A lot of food pantries can accept expired canned goods. Again, check with the local food pantry and ask what their policies are. Most of them can accept canned goods if they're expired within, say, like the last 3 to 5 years. Don't donate anything that has like If it's bulging, obviously don't. Dented is usually okay within reason. If the can is like bent halfway, bent in half, they're probably not going to take it. But if it's just got a small dent, that's probably fine. A little bit of rust damage is okay, but if it's very, very rusty, they probably animal droppings on it. We had somebody donate one time, and we had an entire a big donation of stuff, and it had come out of a shed or something, and we just had to discard all of it because it was covered in animal droppings. Am I still live? Pixel just hit a button. Let me know if you guys can still see me. Yeah, I think I'm still live. Okay. Let's see. What was I talking about? I was talking about things that they will and won't take. Yeah, Trial Fan said, yes, there's a difference between best if used by and expiration date. And that was one of the things that we had. We could take stuff within reason if it had a best if used by date. If it had an expiration date, we could not take it. If it was past the expiration date. Let's see. Rebecca, hello, welcome in. Bearded Halfling said, we don't wash our eggs, so they don't have to be refrigered, but all of our eggs are also stamped to show they're salmonella free. Bearded Halfling said, also, it's mad to me that cowboys basically lived exclusively off beans, and they never looked at bread and went, yeah, this will work. Not sure. Welcome in. Hello. We are, we've been talking about food pantries. We've been talking about, food pantries and blessing boxes and food insecurity because of the whole situation going on with SNAP benefits not being approved for November. Depending on the state that you live in, if you live in the U.S., some states are moving money around to try to provide additional funding to their local food pantries. That's not really happening in Alabama, unfortunately. Retro D, hello, welcome in. One thing I do want to mention, so you have SNAP benefits, which are your general food assistance for basically anybody. You also have the WIC program, which is Women, Infants, and Children. And that is a separate food assistance program. And I don't really know a whole lot about it. I think it's for families that have children under the age of 5. I think 5 was the cutoff. It might be 4. But with that program, they can get certain specific items. It's usually stuff like bread and apple juice, dairy, things like that. It's typically a much lower amount of money than SNAP, but it is a separate program. And as far as I know, the WIC program is still funded at this time. Whether or not that's going to happen, continue on, I don't know. Depends on how long this shutdown goes on. But for the moment, if a family receives WIC, as far as I know, that should still be active. Not sure, says, I didn't know you did stuff like this. It's really awesome. I've worked at the soup kitchen one town over a few times, not as a condition of legal stuff. Stone Homie says, I'm off, guys. Have a good night. Donate some food if you're able. Yes, absolutely. Not sure says, a lot of folks around here are going to feel a lot of pain, but we do have a place that is really good at helping people out, and the area has a lot of charitable folks. That's good. So the way SNAP works is that money comes from the federal government, and then it goes to your state. And each state distributes that money sort of in their own way. Different states set their own eligibility criteria. Some states have a work requirement, some states don't. So it kind of depends on what state you're in. Um, at least for Alabama, the guidance that has been coming down from the state is that SNAP benefits for November could be released later in the month if the shutdown ends. If you have funds that are still on your SNAP card, let's say that you haven't used all your October benefits and it's November 4th and you still have some funds left over. As far as I know, the card will still work up to that point. So again, the information that I'm saying here is sort of specific to Alabama. It might be different in your state, so be sure you check. But it's also possible that once this shutdown ends, that SNAP is back paid. So if people miss November's benefits, that they could be back paid for November. We don't really know at this point. This administration is a total wild card. It could go either way. They could decide to back pay those benefits. They could decide not to. So it's a big question mark right there. Rebecca says, just wanted to hear these great tips and ideas for helping those in need. Good night, everyone. I have a great rest of your week. Thanks for hanging out with us, Becky. Trial Fan said, I had a childhood friend whose parents had an egg farm. They supplied local grocery stores. They candled eggs, held them up to a light. They didn't wash the eggs they kept for their family. Yes, so candling eggs is a way to tell if the egg is fertilized or not. So that is where you hold it up to a light and you can actually tell whether or not there is a baby chicken growing in there. Lydia says, hey guys. Welcome in, Lydia. Glad to see you. So yeah, we talked about WIC and how for the moment that is still funded. Let's talk about blessing boxes. And we've talked about that some off and on tonight, but blessing boxes work really well when there are more of them in a community, because the total contents of a blessing box is not much. Like, we're talking a box that is, maybe the size of a cabinet. A lot of them are about the size of like an old newspaper box. A lot of them are that size. In fact, you can actually make them out of old newspaper dispensers. I have seen some that are like the size of a stand-up cabinet, but they don't hold much, and they require constant refilling. So if there is a blessing box in your neighborhood and you want to put food in it to donate, make it a habit to like check it regularly, just because it's going to get emptied quickly. There's always because blessing boxes work on an honor system, you're going to have people who come in and they may clear the entire box out. That's fine. That is okay. That's the way they're supposed to work. If that happens, just donate some more if you can, or get friends and family involved and get them to donate some stuff. Lydia said, I don't know what is happening. So Lydia, one of the things we're talking about right now is, I don't know how much you know about it, but food stamps, people who get SNAP benefits or food stamps, they're not getting that money in November because of the government shutdown. So I used to work at a food pantry, and one of the things I've been doing tonight before we start getting into our game is talking about food pantries and the ways you can support them, and just kind of sharing my experience working at a food pantry and sort of the ways those things work. You can establish your own blessing box. Like, I've seen them outside of people's houses. And really all you need is like a post and you can find plans for them online. You can upcycle something to establish one of those. It obviously helps if you're in a neighborhood that's kind of walkable. But if you know a local business, you can ask them to set one up, especially if you're willing to build it and kind of manage it yourself. There's a lot of businesses that will let you host one. So those are really really great. And again, you know, it's a community effort. Like one person can't do all this, and it's a matter of getting as many people in your community involved as possible. Um, Something else that is like, if you know there are people in your community that are struggling, you may not know exactly which families are struggling. Um, you know, because that we talked about that pride issue before, right? Some people don't want people to know that they don't have enough food. Um, Invite your friends and family over for dinner, you know, or do a house party or a potluck or something like that. Uh, when the Great Depression happened, and there were so many people hungry, that is kind of where potlucks came out of. Like you've heard of potlucks where everybody brings a dish. Um, a lot of times that developed in the Great Depression era, and it did that because each family could really just commit to bringing one or two items, and not have to feed their entire family. So those kind of things work together, to really help protect everybody. So that's kind of my soapbox. I've been talking for about an hour here. I'm going to take a really quick break. And when I come back, we're going to play some Slime Rancher. But I'm going to get some coffee and rest my voice for half a second. And then we will be right back. So catch you in just a few minutes. All right, let's get in here. Come on. There it is. Not sure why my screen is being funky here. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. Let's turn off the game logo. There we go. Let's see. Not sure says neither side cares about us. I've abandoned both parties. I live politically homeless. It's isolated but peaceful. You know, it's one of those kind of things like I think that America has some serious issues in government, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Because I don't want to get too partisan on either way here, but it is a big issue, and we have a lot of serious issues to work through. Beardy says, I'm going to make my escape for the night. Catch you all later. Thanks for hanging out with us, Beardy. Lydia says, my friend's family is literally struggling too. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are struggling right now, and it's going to be one of those kind of things we get through by coming together, you know? Mochi Miles says, well, seems like another wannabe rancher has signed up for a lonely existence on a faraway space rock. Congrats, Beatrix. I'm Mochi Miles. That's Miles as in Tatsuya Miles, the billionaire. But I'm here to do important business for my dad, but that doesn't mean I won't make all the rest of these backwater types out here look bad in the process. No one conquers the plort market like I do, day in and day out. My dad gives me the inside track, so look forward to me requesting plorts that I know will make me huge profits later on. So I wish you the best of luck, Beatrix. Maybe you'll even reach second place. But at the very least, you can tell your friends that you helped out the great Mochi Miles in her conquest of the far, far range. Later, Tater. Mochi Miles, top rancher. Excuse you. What are you doing? What are you doing? She is, Pixel is attacking the strings on my hoodie. Okay, so what? I don't even remember what we did last time. We built this. What is this? This is our silo. You're gonna fall, and you're gonna ruin everything. Okay, so we have a couple of plorts. We have a couple of slimes. We have, what are you guys? Tabby Largo, a Honey Largo, a bunch of Rock Tabby Largos, and a couple of Tabby Slimes. Whoa, that was bad. We have a Pogo Fruit Farm. We have a Carrot Farm. And we have our various chickadoos and chickadees and chickawhatsits. Let's go feed some carrots to our Oh no! 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 I was trying not to have that happen. What's the deal here? There we go. Not sure says, wow, things have changed around the old farm. Yeah, well. Okay. We gotta make some more enclosures. How much? We don't have very much. Let's oh yeah, I forgot to have the jetpack now. Alright, I gotta go find the tabby. Where was the big tabby slime? don't remember. Hi, I can't breathe through you. You're in the way. Pixel, put your butt down. Thank you. Honestly, at this point, I think I'm just going to run around and get some plorts and try to get enough to get a another enclosure. Stab it. Those are rock plorts. Let's see, this is where the other, this is where the other one was. Cass! Where's the tabby big guy? Because I don't remember where that one is. No! Don't want to deal with those right now. He says chickadoos. Where's Noah when I need him? Noah would be telling me where the tabby thing was. All right, there we go. Okay, we're going to build a something. What are we gonna build? Let's build another corral. And we'll build... Tabby Gordo is near the bridge by the water. Lydia says, I got my Halloween costume today. What kind of Halloween costume did you get? What are you going as for Halloween? Oh, I gotta feed these guys. They'll eat veggie. I got some star meal too. Let's grab a couple of the chicken thingies. We'll go feed them to our... There we go. Got some more Largos. Hey, stop hitting me. Ow. You jerk. I really need to build the auto collector on this one. Because the rock guys don't like me very much. Who's hungry? You're hungry. No, that's not what I want to do. There we go. Ow. Okay. Can we do the plort collector? We don't have enough for the plort collector, but we might soon. Lydia says, I'm gonna be Cleopatra. That's cool. Alright, let's do the automatic plort collector on these ones. Purchase. Aha. Alright, next we'll do the auto feeder on there. Cass says, oh, just wait. The slimes have all sorts of fun ways to accidentally kill you. They're sweeties. They just don't know their own strength. Not sure says these rock guys are aggressive. Okay. We're going to... Oh, check our star mail. The big storm. I got your mail. Of course, I remember that day. I feel like that was when you and I really connected. It was raining so hard the streets were flooding and we took shelter in that cafe. It was like a scene from a movie, only we both looked like wet animals, and the guy running the shop was a real tyrant. The only way we could stay inside was by ordering one coffee after another. That's a pretty good problem to have. I felt like we learned more about each other that day than ever. Maybe it was the coffee because we were both talking really, really fast. I told you about my dreams, making music and all that. At least that's how I remember it. Walking home when the rain came back, you got closer to me and my heart was racing. But I couldn't blame that on the coffee. Aww. They're in love. Okay. Cass says it's near the bridge. So I'm guessing this bridge or that bridge. I don't know. We'll go this way. The ladder. So that bridge. Okay. The one towards the jungle. Okay. Be on your right just before the bit with hostile pinks. Okay. Aha! There you are. Oh no! No! I forgot. Tabbies only eat meat. Dang it. Tabbies only eat meat, so I gotta get a lot of chickens. Crap. Let's grab some chickadoos. No. Where'd my chickadoo go? Hey, go away. Stop hitting me. Wait, those are chickadoos, aren't they? Oh no, those are stony chickadoos. Okay. Are you a chickadoo? I don't know what you are. Cass says, remember, they won't eat chickadoos. You gotta give them the full-grown ones. Yeah, but I'm taking the chickadoos back to my house. Because they'll grow into full-grown ones, won't they? I hope. Okay, I gotta drop all this veggie crap off at my silo so that I can contain all of the various chicken forms. Let's grab these plorts. They must be sacrificed, Lydia. Alright, can we upgrade this thing? What do we need? High walls, great for keeping chickens in and hungry out. Hens will produce eggs twice as fast. We need 425 for that. And 500 for that. Where did my silo go? It's up here. Alright. Wait. Wait. Huh? How do I... Okay, there we go. I see it now. You have to cycle through it. All right, let's collect all these. All right, let's make more chickadoos. That's kind of weird. Like, what does that mean? Oh, that's the thing I just bought, wasn't it? I think. The spring grass? I don't know. There's little, like, bugs crawling around, but I guess that's what they eat. Baka baka, baka baka baka. Plurts. Lydia, I'm gonna wait till they grow up before I feed them. All right, let's see what's going on here. I need these plorts post-haste, whatever that means. Needs a honey plort, 2 of the glowy plorts, and tabby plorts. We got some fruit and 500 gold. 500 gold would be nice. Hey, what are you doing out here? Get back in there. I guess I'm just gonna run around and collect stuff while I wait on, my chickadoos to grow up and grab some more chickadoos. I gotta get the water upgrade at some point. Hey, why are you hitting me? Didn't do nothing to you. Uh-oh. I hear a whole bunch of these bad guys. That didn't work. Good lord, they're everywhere. Wait, what happens if I drag you over here? I guess that doesn't do anything. Oh well. Oh wait, there's some water. Okay. Plop you in the water. Plop you in the water. Go away. Did I get them all? Nope, there's more over here. Hi, Chantel. How's it going? We are getting rid of some terrible evil slimes. Chickens! think we're gonna upgrade to the tall walls next. Lydia said, Wobble, you need one of the glowing plorts. I know I need one of the glowing plorts. I'm really more focused on getting my chicken production up right now. Okay, purchase that. Which means you need to go back in there. Yeah. Baka, 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 baka. Alright, we're gonna drop our roostro. And our chickadoos. And 2 of our hens, like that. There we go. We'll hold on to the rest of them. Alright, we're gonna stick the rest of these in here. No, we're not. It only holds 3 things? Really? I guess we can upgrade it, though. Additional storage. Lydia says, Wobble, you do this for what? What? I don't understand, child. Oh, hey, it's a honey plort. I do need one of those. Let's see. What do I want to do here? Let's go give the honey plort. Ta-da! Are you guys hungry yet? Apparently not. Alright, I gotta get some more honey. I gotta get some more honey dudes. New upgrade available. Tank Booster Mark II. These enhanced nano storage cells throw caution to the wind and allow you to cram 40 units into each vac tank. That'd be nice. Alright, let's go see if we can get a glowy plort before it stops being daylight. I need 2 of them. That's not what I need. I don't have any fruit. I gotta find some fruit. Hi, Spidey. Hello. Spidey says, I didn't realize you ran a food pantry. I imagine you have plenty to say about Snap right now. Yeah, we actually spent the first hour of our stream talking about Snap and food insecurity and all kinds of cool stuff. It's, I mean, it's a terrible situation, dude. It is just totally messed up. Are you streaming tonight? It's not gonna work. Alright, tell you what. Come here. I don't know why I'm chasing these things down when I can take them with me. Where'd you go? Alright, let's go back home. Wherever home is. This way. Spidey says, I'm streaming in an hour. Gonna try to Platinum Arkham Asylum tonight. I still need to play those games. I have, like, all of them. I just have never played them. Okay, we have this. We're going to do the solar shield, which we can afford. And stick those in there. Let's grab some of our fruits. Hey, what are you doing? You're supposed to be in there. There's one. All right, poop out another one. Come on, guys. There we go. Oh, I gotta have the high walls, I guess. Or something. All right, whatever. We'll figure it out. They can't go far. All right, and then we need some tabby ones, so we gotta feed these guys something. I need you guys to finish up and eat something. Oh, wait. No, I have the auto plorter. I need, I guess, carrots. There we go. All right, give me some of your tabby plorts. There's one. I need one more. Come on. There it is. Let's see if I can get it. Aha! I got him. Yay! We have successfully plorted our plorters. I just like saying plort. It's a good word. Look at the rest of these, whatever they are. Heartbeats. My problem is I don't have enough stuff. Hey, Cass, if I just drop stuff on the ground, does it eventually despawn? Is that going to be a problem? I feel like that's going to be a problem. You really need to play Slime Rancher, dude. It is really, really fun. Although somewhat infuriating at times. Case in point, these guys who keep flying out of their enclosure because I don't have enough money. If I drop stuff, no, but food will decay. Okay. Do I care about that? I don't know if I care about that. You know what? Here, I'm gonna shoot a bunch of heartbeats in there, and then I'm going to grab these dudes and throw them back in there. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Give me that. Stick it back in there. Okay. All right, I got money now, so let's make this taller so these guys don't fly out. Airnet? Does the airnet keep them from flying out? It says it can take a few hits before needing to recharge. Do I want to do that, or do I want to do high walls? Let's do high walls first. Okay, let's go find our magical fly plorts before they despawn and get them back where they're supposed to go. Hey, come back here. Where'd the other one go? I had 3 of them. Did he get eaten? He might have gotten eaten. Okay. Wait, what are you? Where'd you come from? I think he just ate that. All right, let's phosphor plort. Drop that off. Spidey says I much prefer third person to first. I don't know if this has a third-person view or not. Okay. Baka 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 baka. Are there mods for Slime Rancher? Because this would be a really fun game with modding. Okay, so pogo fruit don't really count as vegetable, I guess. They count as fruit. Go away. Lydia says, gotta chase the Z's. Catch you later, fam. Thank you for hanging out with us, Lydia. Hope you sleep well. I'm just gonna eat this guy into the water because he keeps getting in my way. All right, let's see. What do I want to combine this guy with? Because I've got my pink that I'm gonna do honey, pink and honey. We got Tabby and Rock. So let's do I don't know, let's do something different. What else is next? What do we got? Oh, it's offline. Cass says, have you gotten crystals yet? I have not gotten crystals. What are crystals? Crystal slimes are very pretty. I wonder how many, Ow! I was gonna grab him! I was gonna grab that chickadee. Whoa, that's not good. Hey, what's this? It's a tunnel. Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel. Through the mountain. Secret tunnel. Ah! I got you. And another one. And two more. I don't want the pink slime. Go away. There's more chickens if I can save them. No! I could not save them in time. Alright, let's see if this is enough chickens to feed this guy. Oh, he's so hungry. Thought that would be enough. Apparently was not. Alright, I need, ow, go away. Let's go find some more slimes. Hey, if I feed the tabby, does he stop being fed if I don't feed him all at once? Or does it like add up until I feed him enough? I got a bunch of star mail when we get back to the house. Back to the house. We're not going there yet, though. We're going this way. Because I want to get something cool. I don't know what I want to get, but we're going to get something cool. Oh, yeah, that's right. Hey, it's chicken. And it's a roostro. That's what I want. Wait, what are you? Hey, I got some water and a puddle slime. I didn't know I could get water. I didn't think I bought that thing. Bok. Well, give me another puddle slime. I want more of those. That didn't work. Yeah, those are the fire slimes. Where are you guys? You're a different type of hen. Let's see. I gotta get... Hey, I was supposed to fly. I didn't fly. Oh, because I only have so much energy. That's why. Don't hit me. Alright, recharge. I really can't go any higher than that. That's funny. Let's see. No! Oh god, that's gonna be bad. Oh, whew, okay. We made it. I didn't think I was gonna make it in time. Let's see. It goes this way. There we go. Alright. Let's go feed the rest of these chickens to this guy. Where'd he go? This way. This way. There he goes. What'd I get? What is this thing? Alright, come here, chicken dudes. Or not chicken dudes, tabby dudes. Alright. I don't care about the tabby climbs. Where'd I go? I got teleported. Wait, what? The docks. Where am I? Oh, I'm there. So I go from there to there. Well, that's cool. How do I get... Can't go that way. I can't go that way. I gotta open this door first. Okay, so I guess we just gotta teleport back. Well, that's kind of useful. Hey, you jerks, go away. Oh yeah, let's No. What are you doing? What do you eat? You eat water. Where's your plort? No, you're good. You gotta make the pond. Oh, well, that's dumb. He's gonna dry out if you leave him in there. Well, where else can I put him? I don't have a pond. I don't even know where I can make a pond. Ow! Why are you biting me? Why are you biting me? That's my nose. Let's not do that. Alright, I'm gonna go pick up my puddle port slime thing. Oh, I guess he already dried out. Oops. Oh well. You can build a pond where you build corrals, etc. I can build one here? Oh, okay. I guess I can. Good to know. Oh well. Alright, let's go drop off some more plorts. Three to 4 puddle slimes to a pond. Do puddle slimes combine with other slimes? Like, to make Largos? Because I'm trying to find something to combine with my phosphor slime. Puddle plorts aren't the most important, so not an emergency. Okay, well. Let's see what we can upgrade. Let's upgrade this with an auto feeder. They cannot make Largos. Neither can fire slimes. Okay. I guess I just gotta keep pushing forward until I find something else. I need to get some more honey slimes though, so that I can get more of those. In fact, let's do this. Let's do plort collector on that one. And let's do... Can we afford that? Yeah. Okay, so we have plort collectors. I guess I should look at this occasionally and see what I can upgrade. Because I don't have hardly any of these. Alright, let's check our doohickey. Chickens? Oh, I like Bob. He needs a roostro and 5 normal chickens. We probably have that. I think we no, we don't have that. We don't have that at all. That's disappointing. Well, I guess we can grab some plorts because there's like a crap ton of them here. This game kind of has like the chill vibes of Minecraft, where it's chill but only to a certain extent. I got rock plorted. don't want the pogo fruit. Go away. I want chickens. Yes, it's sort of kinda, I think it's a nice middle ground between the uneasy peace of Minecraft and the oh god efficiency potential of Stardew or Satisfactory. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Oh, I'm all full up on those. I don't want to go there yet. I want to go back to my house. Drop off all of these things. I need to unlock the docks. What are you doing? Pixel is attacking my little circle crosshair thing. I need more roostros. Hey, stop. That is not for you. Let's go check our star mail. We have 2 star mail. Bob! Hello, Bob. Hello, hello, chickens. Hello, chickens. Chicken, hello, Bob. PSS, chicken. Okay, I don't need you to open the terms of use of whatever you're doing. You are stepping all over everything. Pixel just stepped all over my keyboard, and there are like 15 windows just popped open. Okay. The 7Z Rewards Club. Ms. Libo. The 7Z Corporation would like to extend a very special offer to you, an invitation to the very exclusive, exceptionally choice, highly sought after 7Z Rewards Club. The 7Z Rewards Club allows you to earn ultra premium ranks within an exclusive club for only a semi-ultra premium price. It's just that easy. Each rank grants you a new club title along with unique rewards such as beautiful upgrades for your ranch, exclusive customization options, and more. We look forward to your enrollment. Offers a path to greatness, one large sum of new bucks at a time. Yeah. Okay, 7Z Reward Club. Current rank, none. Next rank, Initiate. We can get a Roostro Weather Vane, but it costs 750 new bucks to do that. So we don't have that much yet. All right, I think we are probably going to call it here because it's a little after 8 or 9 Eastern, and I still need to eat dinner. And Pixel is wanting her dinner, which is why she's probably getting all up in my space right now. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for listening to my soapbox about food insecurity and all the stuff we talked about. Please make a donation to your local food pantry if you're able to do so. If you are struggling with food insecurity, please make use of the resources that are out there. Don't let don't let the opinions of other people or shame or stigma or any of that get in the way of feeding you and your family. Make use of blessing boxes in your community, make use of food pantries in your community. Take advantage of every resource you can to get to a better position for you and your family. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys. My next stream is going to be Sunday night. I'm not sure what we'll be playing just yet. But our next Halloween movie night on the Discord is tomorrow night. We will be watching The Wolfman from 1941, and that will be our last Halloween movie night for the night. That'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Discord. Lodame says, I've just been lurking, but great stream. Thank you for hanging out. Lurking is always appreciated. So you guys have a great one. I will catch you later in the week. Hope the rest of your week is wonderful, and I will see you guys later.